Was good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building with another banger, man. Now, first things first, before we get any further into this video, I just want to say thank you, God, for another day and another opportunity. So as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen today, I'm going to be showing y'all how to create the first ever secondary ball handler build in NBA 2K23 on nextgen. Now let me just go ahead and say right now, the secondary ball handler build is going to be back and better than we have ever seen in previous 2Ks. Now before we get into the actual build making, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications and be sure to go ahead and smash that like button. And to everybody still watching, go ahead and comment down below right now. Where are you tuning in from? And I most definitely got y'all with the response. Now let's go ahead and get started by making this build out of the power forward position. Now when it comes down to the actual body settings, you have a few different options that you're going to be able to pick from. So today I'm going to make this build at the height of 6'8". When it comes down to my weight, I would go with the lowest just so that way you're able to get the maximum speed. And then for the wingspan, you can max it out or go with 7'6". Now I'm going to go with 7'6", and then for the body shape, if you want to take up the most space, which is really going to help y'all on the defensive end, go with the body shape of builds. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and get into the actual breakdown of this build, and we're going to be able to reach 82 total badges when it's all said and done. Now that's without any extra badge upgrades, but the first thing we're going to go ahead and get after is going to be the physicals. So the main thing that I was trying to go after when making this build was make it like a Draymond Green type build. So when it comes down to my speed, I'm going to go with the max of 83. As for the acceleration, I did go with the 78, and I wanted to be sure that we were going to be able to defend on the inside, so you definitely need to go ahead and upgrade the strength. I'm going to go with the max as well here, 79. Now for the vertical, we're going to be able to get pro contact dunks on this build, so go with the 75 at the least. Now for the stamina, you can go anywhere from 80 all the way up to 90. Now if you want to pick a higher number or even a lower, that really comes down to your own adjustments that you want to make on this build, but I highly recommend that y'all go ahead and make sure that you make it first exactly how I'm bringing it to y'all, and then afterwards, once we get the correct build name, make your own adjustments. Now let's go ahead and get into the defensive area on this build. I'm going to go with the defensive rebound of an 82. Now when it comes down to badge purposes, a lot of the stats on this build are really only the way that they are because you get extra badges with the way that I set it up, but also you're able to get the best badges possible. Now for the offensive rebound, I'm going to go with the 78. For my block, I'm going to go with an 83, and then for the perimeter defense and steal, 89 and an 88. Now out of both of these areas, we're going to be able to get a 99. Now I'm going to show y'all exactly how once we get into the takeovers, but pretty much you can consider each attribute of this build with a +4 if you're looking to buy boosts out of each category. Now for the interior defense, I did go with the 71, and then as you can see, we get a total of 28 badges when it comes down to the defensive. Now we have a few different badges to look at. The main ones that I'm focused on are going to be Silver Box Out Beast, also get Menace, Challenger, Chase Down Artist, Clamps, and then out of tier 3 we also get Anchor and Rebound Chaser. Now if you want to go ahead and test to make this build with higher tiers of badges, you definitely can do so, but as far as for what I'm showing you right now, I think this is going to be the absolute best way to go about it. Now when it comes down to the playmaking, you have to be very specific with each area of this build. So for my speed with ball, I'm going to go with the 78. When it comes down to the ball handle, I'm going to go with an 89. And then for the pass accuracy, you can't go above an 80 because if you do, that's going to change the build name. Now right there, we get a total of 22 badges. And the main thing with this build is you're going to be able to actually spread the wealth on the playmaking as well. Now the ones that I'm looking forward to are going to be Break Starter, Hyperdrive, and then also Quick First Step and Vice Grip. And then once you get to tier 3, we also get Clamp Breaker, Handles for Days, as well as Killer Combos. Now depending on the way that you make this build, you definitely can go about it different ways. The thing that I'm doing with this build is making sure that when I max out a certain attribute, that it's going to allow me to get an extra badge put towards this build, and if you take it off, it's going to take one badge away. So that's how I know I made this build perfectly, because I get the maximum badges, the animations that I wanted, and then the main thing is honestly going to be the physicals. Now just a tip for everybody who's looking to make their first build, I don't know if you have the game yet or not, But be sure that you upgrade the physicals first before going into any build making, and that's going to give you the best idea of not only which areas you should upgrade, but what your build is actually going to be looking like. Now when it comes down to the shooting, I did go with the 76 mid-range, 78 when it comes down to the 3-pointer, and we're going to be able to get a sharpshooting takeover on this build, so the 70s aren't even considered low when it comes down to being able to shoot. Now the main badges that I'm looking forward to are going to be Gold Mini Magician, also get Agent 3, Green Machine Guard Up, Blinders, and then also Catch and Shoot. Now again, if you want to go with lower shooting stats just to get more defensive, maybe even out of the finishing, you can do that, but I'm telling y'all, this is going to be the most balanced way to go about it. Now when it comes down to the actual finishing, we're going to be able to get some pretty good Hall of Fame badges. Now what I'm going to do, make sure you go with at least a 79 driving layup for this build. Then when it comes down to the driving dunk, go with an 84, and that right there alone is going to allow us to get the pro contact dunks. Now when it comes down to the close shot, I went with the 67. Now right here we have 14 badges, and out of everything that we have for the finishing, the main badges that I'm looking forward to are going to be out of tier 1. We're going to be able to get Hall of Fame, Giant Slayer, as well as Pro Touch. Now if you want to make the adjustment, you definitely can do so. Right here it doesn't show that you have Giant Slayer, but if you make one minor adjustment upgrading the close shot, you'll be able to get this badge unlocked. Now the reason why I didn't do so yet is because I wanted to get the max out of the physicals. Now once I go ahead and get into the actual badge layout, I'm telling y'all, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking to you about. Now right here, this is pretty much what the badge setup is going to be looking like. 14 finishing, 18 for the shooting, 22 playmaking, and then we get a total of 28 defensive. Now if you add on the +4 when it comes down to the badges on this build, I would really consider adding them towards the playmaking or even the shooting. Now for the takeovers, we get the shot creating, also going to be able to get the sharpshooting, playmaking, and then finally we're going to be able to get the lockdown defender takeover. Now with these takeovers in mind, remember once activated, you get a +10 towards a certain area of the build depending on which takeover you pick. So let's just go ahead and say that you went with the playmaking as well as the defensive takeover. You'll be able to get the potential of a 99 ball handle, pass accuracy, perimeter defense, as well as steal. Now for my liking, I'm going to go with limitless range just to get that boost to my 3-pointer. The second one I'm going to pick is going to be extreme clamps. Now it's time to go ahead and check out the build name, and I'm telling y'all, this is really the first of its kind, and I think it's really going to be the best. As you can see, together with the Draymond Green comparison, we have created the secondary ball handler. Now if you mess with this build, be sure to go ahead and let me know in the comments, but go ahead and smash that like button. I would highly appreciate that. Now before we get out of here, I need to go ahead and show y'all what I'm going to be going with when it comes down to the badge layout. So I'm going to get started with the defensive area, and as you can see, we have pretty solid stats and badges to pick from. So what I went with was going to be Hall of Fame Menace, and right there already really helps you out on the defensive end. And then when it comes down to another tier 1 badge, I went with Silver Box Out Beast. Now for tier 2, go with Gold Challenger, Chase Down Artist, and then Silver Clamps. And then for tier 3, I went with Anchor as well as Rebound Chaser. Now there's honestly no way to put on the perfect badge layout, but as long as you're picking badges that are based to your own playstyle, I think that's always going to be the best way to go about any picking of the badges. Now as we go ahead and get into the next category, I would have to say, make sure that you always pick the most expensive badge as your main core badge. Now for the playmaking, we actually get a good badge layout here. The main thing that I was focused on was being sure that we're able to get at least Silver Quick First Step, but also Vice Grip. Now for being a rare build, especially out of the power forward position, I think this build hits on all 4 areas when it comes down to each category. Especially for the playmaking, you have all the badges that are needed to be able to dribble. Now when it comes down to the shooting, I went with Gold Mini Magician, Tier 2 Agent 3, Green Machine, as well as Guard Up. Now for Tier 3, I also did go with the Blinders as well as Catch and Shoot, and we'll be able to get limitless range if you add on the 4 extra badges towards this area. But if you grind out Season 1, that's going to give us 5 badges and you'll be able to put on limitless range. Now if you do decide to not even put that badge on because you have the sharpshooting takeover, and that's another option that you can go with as well. Now when it comes down to the finishing, like I said, remember, Giant Slayer on Hall of Fame as well as Pro Touch. That's going to make a huge difference, especially with these badges being out of Tier 1. But when it comes down to Tier 2, we get Fearless Finisher and Limitless Takeoff. And then for tier 3, we also do get posterizer. Now the 4 core badges that I picked was going to be posterizer, catch and shoot, client breaker, as well as rebound chaser. And I think this is the best ones to go with for now. But if you do decide to make this build differently, be sure to go ahead and let me know in the comments. And if you've seen different, be sure to let me know as well. Now, if you enjoyed this build, I would appreciate it if everybody smashed that like button. But man, if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, and turn on post notifications because I'm uploading new builds and content every single day, and y'all definitely don't want to miss. But again, I just want to say thank you for the support. Thank you, God, for another day and another opportunity. God bless y'all. And with all that being said, man, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.